Have you ever poured yourself a warm bowl of oatmeal in the morning, feeling so good about starting your day the healthy way for generations? We've been told oatmeal is a nutritional powerhouse, packed with fiber, good for the heart, and a comforting way to get going. And absolutely, it's a wonderful base for a healthy meal. But here's a surprising truth that many people don't realize, and it can quietly work against all that good you're trying to do for yourself. What you add to that simple bowl of oats can sometimes turn that nutritional hero into something that works against your health goals, potentially even causing issues you might be struggling with right now. Things like energy slumps, digestive troubles, or even difficulty managing blood sugar. It's not the oats themselves that are the problem, but certain common pairings that can undermine all their goodness. It's a painful reality that something we think is purely beneficial might be holding us back. In this video, I want to reveal 7 common foods or additions that, when mixed with your oatmeal regularly, can turn that healthy meal into something less beneficial, or even problematic for your body as you get older. These aren't obscure ingredients. They're things many of us reach for without a second thought. Understanding why can make a world of difference in how you feel every day. So, let's uncover these potential pitfalls and talk about simple swaps that keep your oatmeal truly healthy and working for you. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you and might change how you prepare your breakfast forever. Let's dive right into these common oatmeal additions that might be causing more harm than good. The first one might seem obvious, but it's the extent to which we use it and the types we use that can be the real issue. Added sugar. We're talking about your standard white sugar, brown sugar, maple syrup, agave nectar, or those seemingly innocent flavored syrups you might drizzle on top. For years, many of us got into the habit of sweetening our oatmeal quite generously, perhaps remembering how our parents or grandparents prepared it. Or maybe it's just how we developed our taste. A little bit of sweetness can make oatmeal more palatable for some. Absolutely. But the problem arises when a little bit becomes several teaspoons, or a significant pour of syrup. On a daily basis, oatmeal, especially instant or quick oats, is already a carbohydrate, which your body breaks down into sugar for energy. When you pile on extra added sugars, you're creating a double whammy. This leads to a rapid spike in your blood sugar levels. Think of it like adding fuel to a fire that's already burning brightly. It just flares up intensely. For people over 60, managing blood sugar is often more crucial than ever. Our bodies might not process sugar as efficiently as they used to, and those frequent, dramatic spikes and crashes can contribute to inflammation throughout the body, increase the risk of developing insulin resistance over time, or make managing existing diabetes much harder. Beyond blood sugar, too much added sugar contributes to weight gain, can negatively impact heart health, and even affect your mood and energy levels later in the day, leading to that familiar slump after a sugary breakfast. It essentially turns your sustained energy meal into a quick, fleeting sugar rush followed by a crash, completely counteracting the wonderful fiber and slow-release energy benefits that oatmeal is famous for. So, instead of reaching for the sugar bowl or syrup, think about natural ways to add sweetness and flavor. Things like a sprinkle of cinnamon, nutmeg, or vanilla extract can provide warmth and perceived sweetness without the sugar. Mash in half a ripe banana. It adds natural sweetness and creaminess. Or add a handful of berries, fresh or frozen, more on dried fruit in a moment. These options bring not just sweetness, but also valuable nutrients, antioxidants, and fiber, supporting the very health goals your oatmeal breakfast is meant to achieve. It's about retraining your taste buds slightly to appreciate the subtler, natural sweetness of whole foods. This small change alone can make a huge difference in how your body responds to your breakfast and how you feel throughout the morning. Now, moving on from the direct sugar hit, let's look at another popular addition that often comes loaded with hidden sugars. Speaking of sugar, the second common culprit is excessive amounts of dried fruit, especially the kinds that have added sugar, like many packaged cranberries, cherries, or even raisins. We often think of dried fruit as healthy because it comes from fruit, and fruit is good for you. Right. And in moderation. A small amount of unsweetened dried fruit can add flavor and some fiber. However, the drying process concentrates the natural sugars significantly. A small handful of dried cranberries might contain the sugar equivalent of a much larger portion of fresh cranberries, without the water volume that helps fill you up. When dried fruit has added sugar, and you'd be surprised how many do, check the ingredients label. You're essentially adding concentrated sugar on top of concentrated natural sugar, like the pure added sugar we just discussed. This can contribute to a sharper rise in blood sugar than if you used fresh or frozen fruit, because the water is removed. It's also very easy to overconsume dried fruit. A small pile can contain a large number of calories and grams of sugar without feeling substantial in your stomach, while fresh or frozen fruit contains water and more volume for fewer calories and sugar, helping you feel full and providing sustained energy. A bowl of oatmeal loaded with sweetened dried fruit can quickly become a high-sugar, high-calorie meal that still leaves you feeling hungry sooner because the fiber is less effective at slowing digestion without the accompanying water. The fiber is still there, but the concentrated sugar load can overwhelm that benefit, leading to energy crashes and cravings later. It's like getting the nutritional footprint of several servings of fruit in a tiny, dense package, along with extra sweeteners you didn't bargain for. A much better approach is to use fresh or frozen fruit. Berries, sliced banana, diced apple, or peach chunks are fantastic in oatmeal. They add natural sweetness, plenty of fiber, essential vitamins and antioxidants, and the water content helps slow down digestion and keeps you feeling satisfied longer. If you love the chewiness of dried fruit, try adding just a small sprinkle of unsweetened varieties, perhaps mixed with some nuts or seeds for balance, or rehydrate them slightly before adding. But relying heavily on sweetened dried fruit as your primary topping can easily turn your healthy oatmeal into a sugar bomb in disguise, working against your efforts for stable energy and blood sugar. Now, moving away from natural and added sugars found in fruits, let's talk about sweeteners of a different kind entirely that can also cause unexpected issues when mixed into your daily bowl. Carrying on with the theme of sweetness, the third food addition that can cause problems is artificial sweeteners. Many people turn to zero-calorie sweeteners like sucralose, aspartame, saccharin, or sugar alcohols thinking they are making a healthier choice than sugar. And on the surface, for someone needing to strictly manage calorie or immediate sugar intake, they might seem like a logical swap. However, the research on the long-term effects of artificial sweeteners is still evolving, and increasingly, studies are raising concerns, particularly regarding gut health. Our gut is home to trillions of bacteria, and these microbes play a crucial role in everything from digestion and nutrient absorption to immune function and even mood. Some studies suggest that certain artificial sweeteners can negatively alter the composition and function of our gut microbiome. This imbalance, sometimes called dysbiosis, can lead to digestive issues like bloating, gas, and discomfort, which are already common concerns for older adults. An unhealthy gut microbiome is also being linked to broader health problems, including inflammation, metabolic disorders, and even impacts on cognitive function beyond the gut. Some artificial sweeteners can still trigger an insulin response in some individuals, even though they don't provide glucose. This happens because our bodies anticipate sugar when they taste something intensely sweet, potentially disrupting normal metabolic processes over time. Plus, relying on artificial sweeteners can maintain and even intensify our preference for very sweet tastes, making it harder to appreciate the natural sweetness of whole foods. While they might save you calories in the short term, the potential long-term impacts on your gut health and metabolic signaling make them a questionable daily addition to a meal like oatmeal that's supposed to be building a foundation of health. Instead of artificial sweeteners, we've already touched on natural alternatives like cinnamon, vanilla, or mashed ripe fruit for sweetness and flavor. Another great option is a tiny drizzle of real honey or maple syrup if you use it sparingly, focusing on the flavor it imparts rather than just overwhelming sweetness, and factoring it into your overall sugar intake for the day. The key is moderation and prioritizing whole food sources of sweetness and flavor whenever possible to support your gut health and metabolic balance. Let's shift gears from sweeteners to something creamy that many people add for richness, but which can also bring its own set of issues: certain types of dairy or dairy alternatives. The fourth problematic addition many people stir into their oatmeal is high-fat dairy products like whole milk or heavy cream, especially when used in significant amounts regularly. While dairy can be a source of calcium and vitamin D if fortified, whole milk and cream are also high in saturated fat and calories. While moderate amounts of healthy fats are important, excessive saturated fat intake, particularly when added to a carbohydrate base like oatmeal without much protein or other balancing nutrients in the same bowl, can contribute extra calories that might not be needed and could impact cholesterol levels for some individuals. Furthermore, as we age, lactose intolerance or sensitivity can become more common. Adding a large amount of lactose-rich whole milk to your daily breakfast could potentially lead to digestive discomfort like bloating, gas, cramps, or diarrhea, which is certainly not a pleasant way to start the day and indicates your body isn't happy with the combination. Even if you don't have overt lactose intolerance, heavy cream is simply very dense in calories and fat, which might be more than your body needs or can easily process first thing in the morning, especially if you're not very active immediately after breakfast. Instead of defaulting to whole milk or cream for creaminess, consider using lower-fat dairy options like 2% milk or skim milk if you tolerate lactose well, or explore unsweetened non-dairy alternatives: almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, or coconut milk. The beverage type, not the canned kind, can offer creaminess with potentially less saturated fat and no lactose. Just be sure to choose unsweetened varieties to avoid adding hidden sugars we discussed earlier. And check that they are fortified with calcium and vitamin D if you rely on dairy for those nutrients. Another way to achieve creaminess without excessive fat or lactose is to cook your oatmeal longer or stir it vigorously to release more of its natural starches, making it creamier on its own. Adding a dollop of unsweetened Greek yogurt or a spoonful of nut butter like almond or peanut butter. Checking for no added sugar or unhealthy oils. After cooking can also add richness and protein, balancing the meal better. It's about finding creamy textures from sources that align better with your health goals, avoiding unnecessary saturated fat and potential digestive upset. Now, moving from liquid additions to toppings that are often added for crunch and flavor, but can sometimes undermine your healthy intentions. Following on from creamy additions, the fifth item on our list that can turn your healthy oatmeal problematic is pre-packaged granola, particularly varieties high in added sugars and unhealthy fats. Granola seems like a health food. It's often made with oats, nuts, and seeds, but many commercial granolas are essentially baked mixtures, where oats and other ingredients are clumped together with significant amounts of sweeteners like sugar, honey, maple syrup, or corn syrup, and oils, which may be high in saturated or unhealthy fats. When you add a generous scoop of this sugary, fatty granola on top of your bowl of oatmeal, you are essentially adding a dessert topping to your healthy breakfast. It's a quick way to dramatically increase the calorie count and, more importantly, the amount of added sugar and unhealthy fats in your meal. You might think you're boosting the fiber or adding healthy nuts, but the downsides of the added sugar and fat in the granola often outweigh these benefits. This combination creates a meal that is very high in carbohydrates and sugars, with added fats, which can lead to the same blood sugar spikes and energy crashes we talked about earlier, and contributes excess calories that can lead to weight gain over time. It's a classic example of taking a healthy base oatmeal and piling on ingredients that make it far less healthy, instead of store-bought granola, which is often a sugar and fat trap. Consider adding plain nuts and seeds directly to your oatmeal. Walnuts, almonds, pecans, chia seeds, flax seeds, or pumpkin seeds add wonderful crunch. Healthy fats, omega-3s, monounsaturated fats, protein, and fiber without the added sugar and unhealthy oils found in many granolas. If you love granola, try making your own at home where you can control the ingredients. Using minimal natural sweetener like a tiny bit of maple syrup and healthy fats like coconut oil or olive oil. And focusing on nuts, seeds, and whole grains. Or simply sprinkle a small amount of unsweetened dog muesli on top for texture. The goal is to add beneficial nutrients and texture without the hidden loads of sugar and unhealthy fats that undermine your oatmeal's goodness. Let's move on to a fundamental flavor enhancer that is often overused, with surprising implications for your otherwise heart-healthy bowl. Continuing our look at seemingly innocent additions. The sixth common food that can cause issues when added excessively to oatmeal is salt. While a tiny pinch of salt might enhance the flavor of savory oatmeal, many people add it habitually or use instant oatmeal packets that already contain significant amounts of sodium. Oatmeal is naturally very low in sodium, which makes it an excellent food for heart health, especially for managing blood pressure. Adding too much salt directly counteracts this benefit. High sodium intake is a major contributor to high blood pressure, which is a significant risk factor for heart disease and stroke, concerns that become increasingly important as we age, even if you don't have diagnosed high blood pressure. Consistently adding extra salt to your meals contributes to your total daily sodium intake, which for most adults is already higher than recommended. The sodium adds up quickly throughout the day from various foods, and starting with a high-sodium breakfast just makes it harder to stay within healthy limits. It can cause your body to retain water, leading to bloating and putting extra strain on your cardiovascular system. The beauty of plain rolled or steel-cut oats is their neutral flavor, which makes them a perfect canvas for healthy, flavorful additions other than salt. Instead of relying on salt for flavor, focus on spices that complement oatmeal beautifully without adding sodium. Cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, ginger, and cloves add warmth and complexity. Vanilla extract or almond extract can provide lovely aromas and hints of flavor. Adding fruits, nuts, and seeds brings natural flavors and textures that make salt unnecessary. If you prefer savory oatmeal, experiment with herbs, nutritional yeast for a cheesy flavor, or a sprinkle of black pepper instead of salt. Becoming mindful of how much salt you're adding to your oatmeal and actively reducing it or eliminating it is a simple yet powerful step to protect your heart health and leverage the naturally low sodium benefit of the oats themselves. It's about enhancing flavor with beneficial ingredients, not detracting from the health benefits with excessive sodium. Finally, let's look at a modern addition that's popular for boosting protein, but can sometimes introduce unwanted elements into your healthy bowl. The seventh and final common addition that can potentially turn your healthy oatmeal problematic is certain types of protein powders, particularly those with long lists of artificial ingredients, added sugars, or fillers. Adding protein to oatmeal is actually a great idea. Protein helps balance the carbohydrates, slows down digestion, increases satiety, and is essential for maintaining muscle mass, which is incredibly important as we age. However, not all protein powders are created equal. Some commercial protein powders, especially flavored ones, can be loaded with artificial sweeteners, bringing us back to concern number 3, artificial flavorings, colorings, thickeners, and fillers that offer no nutritional value and may cause digestive upset or have unknown long-term health effects. Some may even contain added sugars or be based on protein sources that are heavily processed. Adding these highly processed ingredients to a simple, whole food like oatmeal can counteract its natural goodness for some people. The type of protein, like certain whey concentrates or plant-based blends with gums, can also be difficult to digest, leading to bloating or discomfort. It's counterintuitive to add something potentially irritating or full of artificial chemicals to a meal intended to be soothing and nourishing. If you want to boost the protein in your oatmeal, which again is a very good strategy, look for clean, simple protein sources. Unflavored or lightly naturally flavored protein powders with minimal ingredients are best. Check the label. you want to see primarily the protein source like whey isolate, casein, pea protein, or brown rice protein, and maybe one or two other natural flavorings or sweeteners if any. Even better, use whole food sources of protein. Stir in a scoop of unsweetened Greek yogurt or cottage cheese after cooking for creamy protein. Add a handful of nuts or seeds. Stir in a tablespoon of natural nut butter. You can even stir in an egg or egg white while cooking for an undetectable protein boost. Look up baked protein oatmeal recipes. These whole food options provide protein along with other nutrients and fiber, without the potential downsides of highly processed powders. The key is to prioritize simple, recognizable ingredients that truly add nutritional value and support your digestion, rather than introducing artificial substances that could cause issues and undermine the purity of your healthy oatmeal base. So there you have it, 7 common foods or additions that, while seemingly innocent or even healthy, can potentially turn your wonderfully nutritious bowl of oatmeal into something less beneficial, or even work against your health goals when added regularly. We talked about how excessive added sugars and sweetened dried fruits can cause blood sugar spikes and energy crashes, how artificial sweeteners might impact your gut health, how high-fat dairy can add unnecessary saturated fat and cause digestive issues, how sugary granola piles on calories and sugar, how too much salt undermines oatmeal's heart-healthy benefits, and how some protein powders can introduce unwanted artificial ingredients. It's not about making oatmeal complicated or scary. Quite the opposite. It's about being mindful of what you're combining with this fantastic whole grain to ensure it's truly serving your health as best it can. Remember, oatmeal itself is a champion food, packed with soluble fiber that's great for cholesterol and digestion, and providing sustained energy. The power is in the pairings. By being aware of these potential pitfalls and choosing healthier, whole food additions like fresh fruit, nuts, seeds, cinnamon, and simple protein sources, you can maximize the incredible health benefits of your oatmeal and make it a true ally in feeling your best every day. Don't feel overwhelmed by these points. Think of them as opportunities for small, positive adjustments. Maybe you start by having the sugar you usually add, or swapping that sugary granola for a sprinkle of nuts. Small changes really do add up to make a big difference in your health and happiness, especially over time. Your body will thank you for choosing nourishing combinations that support stable energy, good digestion, and overall well-being. Which of these surprised you the most? Do you have a favorite healthy way to enjoy your oatmeal? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's share some ideas. And if you found this information helpful and want more tips on living your best life through simple, healthy choices, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. Taking care of yourself through mindful eating is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Live your best life at every age.